What is up, guys? This is Tcg Sam here, and in today's video I'm going to be taking a look at a new archetype that was recently revealed called the Magikeys, and I'm going to be giving my thoughts on it. So before we begin, I just want to ask you guys to please remember, if you haven't already, leave a like, comment, subscribe, because it really helps keep me motivated during these times to keep uploading videos. But with that being said, let's just get straight into it. So Magikeys, the very first monster that's going to be revealed is Magikey Sky Blaster Clavis. So it's a normal monster, which is interesting. Its typing is pretty good. Level 4 is really good, probably the best level in the game. Dark, arguably the best attribute in the game because of all the generic support, like Allure of Darkness, Armageddon Knight, stuff like that. The Warrior is also really good. You can search it with Reinforcement the Army if you need to, although I don't know why you'd be searching a normal monster. Maybe at first glance, it might just be like a card like Mech Knight Avram, where it just doesn't really do anything for the archetype. But maybe this is like really central to the archetype or something. I guess we'll see with the other cards. The next one is Magikey Blaster Battles Buster. It's a level 4 Dark Machine Ritual Tuner, which is interesting. So you can ritual summon this card with Magikey, with the, I assume it's the ritual spell. And if it's ritual summon, you add one Magikey card from your deck to your hand. That's actually really, really good. Because it's a tuner too, it's probably, in my head, like an extender ritual, where if you summon it, you search a card, and you can tune into a bigger monster or overlay because it's level 4. It's really, really good. Once returned, when an attack is declared involving this card, an opponent's monster with the same attribute as a normal monster or Magikey monster in your graveyard, you can place any number of cards from your hand on the bottom of the deck, and if you do, negate that opponent's monster effects until the end of the turn. And then draw cards equal to the number of cards you placed. Okay, so this is interesting because you can kind of like shuffle your hand back and like draw to like recycle your hand. Although I'm not really sure this effect will come up. I'm guessing this guy's probably going to be used just as an extender. When you ritual summon him, you search a card and just keep going from there. But other than that, this doesn't seem too bad. Now the ritual spell has to be really, really good though if you're going to be able to consistently summon this. Next up is Magikey Cannon Garrisvet. Level 8 Earth Machine Ritual Monster, 2k 2800, and you can ritual summon it with this. So I'm not sure if pre-preparation of rites works, because I don't know if it needs to add a specifically. I mean, I guess I assume it's actually a ritual spell. Never mind. You probably will be able to add the ritual spell and a monster if you want to go that route. Although with only one main deck monster, I'm not really sure how the tribute father for this is going to be met. But you can ritual summon it with this. You can only use the second or third effect once returned. Gains 300 for each monster attribute in your graveyard. It's alright. When your opponent activates the effect of a monster with the same attribute as a monster in your graveyard, and you control this ritual summon card using 2 or more attributes, you can negate the activation if you do destroy that monster. Okay, so it's like a negation for monster effects that actually destroys. So that's interesting. Obviously, it's based on stuff you have in your graveyard, or something that you something in your graveyard. So far we've had Dark, which is pretty good. I guess you can get an Earth in the graveyard if this ends up in the graveyard, but your graveyard needs to be set up for this to even become a negate. And if this ritual card is sent to the graveyard, you can add one Magikey monster from your deck to your hand. So all these actually don't seem too bad to just summon them and then like link them off. Like for this one, you get its effect to search. And then this one, when it's linked off, you get its effect to search. But it really depends on how good the ritual spell is from here. They also have fusion cards, which is interesting. Magikey Summon Beast, I'm not going to pronounce that. Level 4 Dark Beast, Fusion Tuner Effect Monster. So level 4 or lower, instant fusion is pretty good. If this card is fusion summoned, you can add one Magikey. I believe instant fusion counts as a fusion summon, so oh man, they're probably not bringing back instant fusion to 3, because this is really good. You can just instant fusion into this, and you add a Mapte, which I believe is, which it should be the ritual spell. So a lot of these centralized around the ritual spell, so the ritual spell needs to be really good. Oh, I haven't even read out the materials. 1 Magikey plus 1 non-token normal monster. So with only one main deck Magikey, like normal summonable monster, I feel like the deck's probably going to struggle getting the necessary materials, unless like they specifically have ways to generate additional monsters or something. And then its other effect, once returned, you can target one opponent's attack position monster with the same attribute as a normal monster or Magikey monster in your graveyard, change it to defense position, and if you do, lose 1,000 defense, and then banish any monsters from a battle with this card. So it's actually not bad. It gets over anything with 3100 or more defense, so that's not terrible, I guess, and then gets rid of it. But overall, love being level 4, instant fusion, summonable, that's probably really good. Plus it's a tuner, so if they have synchros as well, it could be really huge. Next up is Magikey Summon Dragon and Drabamus. It's a level 8 that requires 1 Magikey effect monster, 1 non-token normal monster. So this one specifically needs an effect monster, so you're gonna have to be using one of the rituals probably in your hand, or if this is on the field, you're gonna have to be able to use this. When this card's fusion summoned, your opponent can activate cards or effects. Okay, so it pretty much just locks down your opponent when it's summoned. That's not bad. It prevents them from using cards like Torrential and stuff. Once per turn, you can target 1 normal monster or 1 Magikey monster in your graveyard. Destroy all monsters your opponent controls with the same attribute. It's not terrible, I guess. Especially if they have a card that can change things' attributes. I mean, of course, a card needs to be like very well built into the archetype, because you're not playing something like DNA Surgery or something, declaring attributes. But unfortunately, it's not a quick effect, so it may not be that great. Once per turn, if your opponent's monster with the same attribute as a monster in your graveyard is destroyed by battle or card effect, and you control this fusion summoned monster using 2 or more attributes as material, you can draw a card. It's probably going to trigger off its other effect, but honestly, I don't think this card is super great. Although I suppose if it's easy to make, it might be good. Next up is Magikey Maptea. Oh, okay, so this is the card that everything revolves around pretty much. It's actually a normal spell card, which is interesting. It reads Fusion Summon 1 Magikey Fusion monster from your extra deck using monsters from your hand or field as fusion material, or Ritual Summon 1 Magikey Ritual monster from your hand, attributing monsters from your hand or field whose total level is equal or exceed the level of the ritual monster. So it's a ritual spell and a fusion spell, which is really interesting. I'm not sure if pre-preparation or rights can add this. I'm not sure if it specifically states it needs to be a ritual spell or just a spell that lists the name of the ritual monster. But if it just says the spell that lists the name, this is really searchable, which is really nice. If you control a normal monster, you can also send 1 normal monster from your deck to the graveyard as fusion material for one of the monsters required for the ritual summon. Oh, so that's really interesting. So you can ritual summon from your deck, kind of. It kind of becomes like an advanced ritual art if you control a normal monster. So that means this guy is actually going to be pretty important to the deck, I'm assuming, because it has the Magikey name and it's a normal monster. So you can play cards like Unexpected Die to tutor him out. But I mean, if the whole deck's centralizing around this single card resolving, it honestly doesn't seem that great to me personally, because it's just a regular fusion spell, and then the ritual spell with an advanced ritual artifact is pretty good, but you have to have a normal monster on the board. So I feel like unless they have a really good way to get a bunch of normal monsters on the board, it's just not going to be that great. Magikey Unsealing, which is a field spell. Most field spells nowadays probably all do the same thing. You only activate 1 card with this card's name per turn. You can only use the 3rd effect once per turn. When this card resolves, you add 1 Magikey monster from your deck to your hand. Alright, that's not terrible, but you're only going to be able to add the ritual monsters or the normal monsters, so they don't really have a good normal summon that you can add that like searches or something. The first time each normal monster you control will be destroyed by battle or card effect each turn, except tokens is not destroyed. It's very mediocre. During your main phase, you can add 1 Magikey Maptea from your deck to your hand, then place 1 card from your hand on the bottom of your deck. So this is really interesting. It can, in theory, just set up your entire play. So you can activate this single field spell, search a monster, and then activate its effect, grab the Maptea, put another card back, and then normal summon that normal monster, activate Maptea, and then you got either your fusion monsters or your ritual monsters. But to be honest, aside from the Magikey cannon acting as sort of a negate, I'm not really sure what you want to put up going first. Unless they have like something really good that you can search. So, I mean, this one that adds a Magikey card, maybe there's like some really good traps or something, but those traps need to be really good. But the field spell is really good. It searches your main spell and it searches your monsters. So if they get a really good monster in the future, this field spell is going to be amazing. And they do have traps, as I thought. You can target 1 normal monster or Magikey monster in your graveyard, add it to your hand, then you can apply one of these effects. Fusion summon 1 Magikey monster from your extra deck in defense position using monsters from your hand or field as material, or you can ritual summon from your hand in defense position, which is interesting. So it lets you ritual summon or fusion summon on your opponent's turn while adding back a normal monster that you used. So that's pretty interesting. You can bring out a card like Magikey Cannon on your opponent's turn as kind of an interruption, but then the rest of them just don't really do anything on your opponent's turn, which is a huge problem I find with this deck. You could summon these on your opponent's turn and add a Magikey card, but they're not disrupting your opponent. Like they don't have quick effects that can disrupt your opponent. These are only really good when you summon them on your turn. So maybe they need some more disruptive monsters, in my opinion. Magikey Unlock is a counter trap card, so that's pretty interesting, and it's searchable too because it's Magikey. When your opponent activates a spell or trap card while you control a Magikey ritual monster or a Magikey monster special summon from the extra deck, negate the activation. If you do, destroy that card. Then you can declare one attribute, and if you do, all face-up monsters your opponent currently controls become the declared attribute until the end of the turn. So searchable spell or trap negate is pretty good. But unfortunately, the things you have to control a Magikey ritual monster or a Magikey monster summoned from the extra deck. So one of the fusions. So that just doesn't really seem good, considering your starter cards are like what, your 3 field spells, and I guess you can count Magikey as your starter card. But like that's like 6-7 starters in this deck. This just doesn't seem that good because your normal monster when you draw is just not doing anything. It's just like a big brick. You can't do anything with the ritual monsters, and the fusion monsters are obviously you have to have a really good hand to begin with. So I think this is a pretty big problem that the deck's gonna have right away. It's just not gonna be able to have enough main deck monsters to use for ritual summoning or fusion summoning. And even if they do have enough, like I don't think the cards are that good. I think they definitely need more support. I would say probably more ways to search Magikey Maptea for sure. They need like maybe a continuous spell or something that nullifies the cost of spiritual summoning or fusion summoning, because like you're playing all these normal monsters in your deck, which are just complete bricks pretty much. They're not going to do anything, which I feel like that's going to be a big problem for this deck, for a deck that centralizes around a singular normal monster. Although some of these cards do have a lot of potential. This is a really good card that just lets you add a Magikey card when it's ritual summoned, and this is a disruption on your opponent's turn. And of course, if Instant Fusion were to come to 3, I feel like this is really good because you just get a 3 searchers for Magikey Maptea, which is just super good. But yeah, it looks like those are all the cards. So my thoughts on it, it definitely needs more support. For now, more main deck monsters, more ways to search their main card, considering pretty much their entire deck revolves on that singular spell card. They really need more ways to search it than just the field spell. Maybe like a continuous spell or another Rhoda or something that could just add it. But other than that, I feel like it has potential. The effect to ritual summon from deck seems pretty decent actually, but unfortunately you do have to play a bunch of normal monsters, which is a huge problem. So unless they have like a normal monster trade-in or something later on, then I feel like it's gonna be a big consistency issue. But those are just my thoughts. What do you guys? Let me know what you guys think in the comments below. If you enjoyed the video, leave a like, comment, subscribe. And that's gonna do it for me, guys. Hopefully, if you guys want to see more types of these discussions and my first thoughts / reactions, then do let me know in the comments below and I will try to get to that. But with that being said, I just want to thank you guys so much for watching once again, and I will see you guys soon. Take care.